In this video, I will demonstrate 5 different ways to resize an image in Adobe Photoshop. Which technique you will want to use will depend on your specific needs and the subject matter in your photo. With an image already open in Photoshop, go up to Image, Image Size, and in this panel, you'll see the current size of your image. Yours will probably be different than mine. Using this panel is the most common way to resize an image. In this drop-down, you have some preset sizes. These are very typical ratios in photography, but I typically print images on an 8.5 by 11 inch piece of paper. So if you click here, you can type in a specific measurement, and the width and height are linked together, so when you change one, it automatically changes the other to keep the same ratio. And in order to make sure it fits on the 8.5 by 11 paper, I would need to adjust so that both sizes work together within that number and neither go over. I usually set the resolution to 300. This determines how much detail the image will show, so a higher resolution means more detail, but it also means a larger file. But in this case, I don't have a reason to make it a smaller file, so 300 works well. Resampling adjusts the amount of data, so it can degrade the image to some extent. Turning it off will preserve the total pixel count, so it's something to consider, but for beginners, you probably wouldn't notice much of a difference. Once you click OK, you'll see the changes applied on your main screen, and the size is marked by the rulers on the top and the left. If your image is too big or too small, you can fit it to your screen using the shortcut keys, Command or Control-0 on your keyboard. For this second example, let's say you have a very specific measurement that your image needs to fit. So Instagram, for example, uses a 4:5 ratio. In my case, I know our school's web page has a banner that is sized at 24 by 17 centimeters. So to get your image to a specific ratio, go back to Image, Image Size, and this time unlink the width and the height, and enter these dimensions and click OK. Now you'll see that turning off the lock and unlinking the width and height has distorted the subject matter in my image. That's not going to work for me. So Command or Control-Z to undo this step. A third way to make your image a specific size without distortion is to resize an image using the crop tool. And these boxes up in the option bar is where you can enter in specific dimensions. And I never know which one of these corresponds with width or height, so you can use these arrows to swap them. And now you can grab the image and reset it inside to those dimensions. My preference is to not delete the cropped pixels. This means that you can make changes later on and it will still have the grayed out areas. So checking this box is going to delete those areas. Ignore content aware, so keep that unchecked for right now. And then once you've got your crop where you like it, hit the check mark to accept. Better. I don't want any distortion and it fits my given dimension. Unfortunately, this method means that I might lose parts of the composition though. So I'm going to undo, and a fourth way is by still using the crop tool with the 24 by 17 ratio, but this time I'm going to pull the sides of the bounding box so that you'll see the entire image, and this will reveal the transparent canvas behind the image. Once again, back up in the options bar, this time do check the box next to Content Aware. And now Photoshop is going to use the parts of your image to fill in the empty space of the canvas. And now my image looks something like this. The left side did okay, but on the right side, this just doesn't work. So I'm going to once again step backwards and try this again. I'm going to move my photo all the way over to the right side so that the empty space is to the left. And now it will do a better job, but I still would have to perhaps use the clone stamp tool or spot healing brush tool to fix the seam that now shows up on the grass. So this method works best with an abstract, very blurred background, or maybe an abstract subject matter like nature. And it also works best if your subject matter is located closer to the middle center of your picture plane. Now here is a fifth way to resize an image to a specific ratio while trying to preserve the composition. This time in your Layers panel, right-click on the background and duplicate that layer. Click OK, and then turn off the visibility of the original background, making sure the copied layer is selected. Go over to Image, Image Size, and here I'm just going to set the height to 17 centimeters because I know that the height is not the problem, it's the width that I need to fix. So put in either the height or the width dimension, again, only the one that's not causing any problems, and make sure that they are linked so the other one changes automatically. Right now it doesn't matter what the other one defaults to, and click OK. Then go back up to Image, but this time choose Canvas Size. Not image size, but canvas size. Here, change the unit of measure, in my case it's centimeters, and now add the other ratio. So I'll set my width to 24. This means my canvas will be 24 by 17 centimeters, that's the size I need, and make sure relative is not checked. Click OK. Again, you'll have the transparent empty space of the canvas showing. Go up to Edit, Content Aware Scale. Then grab the bounding box of the image and pull out to cover the empty space of the canvas. It's adjusting both my height and width, so I'm going to step backwards and hold the Shift key on my keyboard to just adjust the width. If you can't grab the bounding box, it might be because you missed a step. Make sure you're on an unlocked duplicated layer and make sure you adjusted the image size first and the canvas size second. Now, unfortunately, this has again distorted my subject matter. So after 5 different ways of resizing this image for a specific ratio, it looks like my best option is using the crop tool and unfortunately losing some of the composition. I'd like to quickly show you an image where the 5th way with content aware scale works successfully. So again, I will duplicate my background layer, make sure the copy layer is selected and turn off the visibility of the original, then go up to Image, Image Size, set the height first and click OK. Then go to Image, Canvas Size, set the width, click OK. Then click Command or Control 0 to see the full canvas. Then go up to Edit, Content Aware Scale. Grab the bounding box while holding Shift and pull out the sides. And because this image doesn't have structural things like buildings, people, trees, it'll scale nicely and does not distort the subject matter. So now I'll go to File, Save, and save my work in my Creative Cloud files in a folder for this class, naming it my first name, last initial, underscore. This is Unit 01.1, transforming or actually resizing an image. And then I'll save it a second time as a JPEG for my web page. And there you have 5 different ways to resize an image in Adobe Photoshop.